Hello and welcome. We are looking into the new moon solar eclipse in Libra arriving on October the 14th. This is a much anticipated new moon. It is going to be a bit of a reset button for a lot of us. This new moon welcomes in new opportunities. It is going to initiate a 6-month cycle, specifically pertaining to relationships, balance and harmony within. And when we think about balance and harmony, this can apply to any area of our life. It can also apply to our mind, our mindset. Where are we creating imbalances with maybe overthinking versus the heart? Are we overextending? Are there imbalances within our energetic self? Are there imbalances within our emotions? Are we hanging on to something? Are we finding ourselves lost in our emotions rather than moving forward in our life? There are going to be many areas within ourselves that we can address, and I do encourage you to look at many different aspects within your being first. And our reality, the world that we live in, is a reflection of our inner one. So if we address the imbalances that we may be working through within ourselves first, then it is going to reflect in our outer world. It is going to reflect with the relationships around us. Now, there could be a karmic tone to this new moon because of the South Node in Libra as well. And being in Libra season, this is a very beautiful time for healing relationships. This could already be in effect for some of you out there, where you may be noticing relationships starting to take a different tone, starting to take a different type of direction. So any kind of relationships that are very close to you, family relationships, love relationships, soulmate type of relationships, deep relationships that are more connected on that deeper level could be changing during this time. And it is going to also have something to do with your inner self, with your inner balance, or how you see and perceive relationships, whether it be love, whether it be friendship, whether it be family, whether it be even unhealthy imbalances. That is going to be highlighted during this time. All right. So any imbalances that could have been unhealthy or toxic in the past may be coming into a healthier cycle. There could be relationships healing during this time. There could also be new relationships blossoming. So Libra also has a very strong relation to love, to relationships. So it could be romantic relationships, of course, and there could be new relationships blossoming at this time. So pay attention to what is starting to change within your relationship dynamics, how you feel about relationships, how you feel about yourself, and start to see what is changing within yourself and within those relationships and with life in general. The balance does apply to everything. It applies to the seasons. It applies to the relationship with Earth. It applies to our body. It applies to our mind. It applies to even weighing things out in our life, right? The positive versus the negative, the this or the that, and seeing both sides of the equation, arriving in a place of balance and harmony and understanding with the different polarities that we have to deal with. And when we become imbalanced within ourselves, if we have a very strong belief towards something and it's pulling us off in a different direction, or it can create emotions, it can create a lot of mental activity, can affect the body as well, then it's a really beautiful time to see where we can bring it back into our center. Where can we look at maybe both sides of the equation or both sides of the situation to arrive at a middle ground with maybe areas in our lives. But this will have a very strong tie to, I feel, relationships in general. So as I mentioned, some karmic relationships may be healing. There may be new relationships blossoming, but most importantly, the relationship within yourself may very well be changing at this time. Now, because this is a solar eclipse, it's not advisable to work on traditional manifestation techniques for setting new intentions, but I really do encourage to be clear and you can set intentions. Is just the traditional ritual of manifestation practices are not advised because the energy is very strong and very unpredictable, but it is good to set intentions. It's very good in general to be clear with what we want, to be aware of what works for us, what doesn't work for us, where we can bring in balance, what we want to see as the outcome, where we want to go moving forward, maybe even with a particular relationship, maybe setting an intention around a relationship or relationships of the balance that you would like to see happen or take shape over the next 6 months within that particular dynamic. So setting intentions will be very advisable during this time, because the clearer that we can be with the kind of life that we want, with who we want to be, with especially looking at two sides of the equation, at two sides of the story, and finding that middle ground within ourselves, and maybe even looking at other people in relationship dynamics to understand where they are coming from to bring in balance within that relationship dynamic would be very helpful. So being the observer and looking at relationships in a non-judgmental viewpoint, understanding where everyone is coming from, understanding what our needs and our values are, most importantly, of course, but to look at both sides of the equation and to understand what needs to maybe heal, or to understand what kind of relationships work with you the most, so that you can cultivate those kinds of relationships if they are within existing relationships or with new relationships. And so the clearer that we are, then the greater chance we are going to have of having those types of relationships in our lives. We may also have to let go of relationships. We do have the full moon in Taurus showing up at the end of the month, although Taurus energy is going to be more around finances, around the material, practical, earthy realm. But you can look at what needs to maybe shift out with regards to maybe unhealthy relationships, or having the awareness of what doesn't work and what does work, what feels good for you, what kind of relationships that you want to invite in your life, and close the chapter to the old. So this is all about new beginnings, but also when we start a new chapter, we have to be very mindful of not repeating any past situations or past cycles or patterns, to cut those patterns and to say goodbye to the past and start something new with that new intention, and being very clear again of what is going to work for us, what gives us the most joy and balance and harmony within ourselves, pertaining to relationships and also pertaining to ourselves. Now, I am going to be hosting a free new moon ceremony, non-ritual. It is going to be through my Patreon. You can join for free, and I highly recommend joining to work with this energy. I'm going to guide you through the energy of this new moon, the Libra archetype, how you can work with this archetype to bring in balance, to restore balance, and to hit that reset button to create a new 6-month cycle. So if it is with the balance within yourself, if it is balance with relationships or with life in general, make sure to join this new moon ceremony on the 14th. The link will be below, and it is going to be again through Patreon. It is a free ritual. So I'm going to be gifting my Libra season to you, and I would love to see you there. So during this new moon, regardless, spend some time by yourself as well, and just feel into the energy and take note of what is changing. The clearer that we are and the more aware that we are, the greater ability we have to create change in our life and to bring in harmony and to bring in balance from a conscious level, from being aware and being mindful of what is important for us, what feels right, what can we invest into that is going to set the course for a 6-month cycle to create and cultivate meaningful relationships, to create and cultivate balance within ourselves, and maybe to heal relationships that have been out of balance in the past. And as I mentioned, there may be a bit of a karmic tone during this new moon because of that South Node in Libra. There could just naturally be a lot of maybe old relationships falling away or healing and completely changing. So it's going to be a really interesting time to explore this within yourself and within your life, and to also really be clear moving forward about what you would like to set in motion for the next 6 months. And then we have the full moon lunar eclipse at the end of the month, which I will be highlighting later on in the month, but that is going to be a very, very powerful time of endings. And it may apply to different areas in our lives, but still, we are going to have some release of the old and starting anew with this new moon in Libra. So it is going to bring in a refresh. We also are in cardinal season, and cardinal season is all about initiation. So it is a great time to initiate change. Maybe this new moon needs action. Maybe it needs some conscious effort on your part, perhaps, to create change. that will start something in motion for the next 6 months. There's also one more note I do want to add about this new moon is the date. It falls under a karmic debt number of 14. 14 is a 5, which is all about change. 14 karmic debt number can feel like things are a little bit chaotic and feeling like they're a little bit out of control. The best way to work with this karmic debt number is to be organized and to be structured. So if you're feeling your energy to be a little bit chaotic, because it can bring in an extra oomph of energy, especially with the mind, because we are in air season. It does relate to our mental processes, our cognitive self. So you can find your mind perhaps maybe running on overdrive a little bit. And if you find your energy starting to build up as we move closer to this new moon, just try to find a place of calm. Work on meditation, be very aware of your body, be very aware of your mind. What is coming to the surface perhaps, or what is becoming activated within yourself, and where can you bring it into more alignment and maybe a little bit more structure within your personal spiritual practice. And that will help with the energy. It will help bring it down a little bit. Go for a walk, meditate, breathe, especially work on deep breaths to calm the energy down and to focus and to be really clear with what is happening, what do you want moving forward, and setting those intentions for the 6-month cycle. So I'm wishing you all the best during this new moon and beyond. Don't forget to sign up for the free new moon ceremony as we go into this energy here of Libra. I hope to see you there, and I'll be seeing you again here very soon. Take care.